Hello, friends, and welcome to Relational Skills in Real Life. This is Christy Harang, standing in for Chris Coursey temporarily as the host of this podcast, and I am so glad to have you joining us. So we've been doing a series of interviews with Thrive Today team members, some of our premier trainers, as well as a couple of volunteers, just to talk about how relational skills are impacting our lives and to share that with you and inspire you on your journey. And today I am so excited to have joining with us Kāmi Ricks. So Kāmi was our Thrive Premier Training Coordinator a few years ago. She came on to our team in that role, and now she is currently, her primary role is as our Donor Relations Coordinator. So Kāmi, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It is so fun, Kāmi, having these interviews and just chatting. We talk about these things all the time anyway, so it's really just a chance to kind of give our audience a bird's eye view into the discussions that we already have and sharing life with each other. So I want you to start, if you could, by telling us briefly, how did you get to know about Thrive Today and relational skills?
Great. Thank you, Christy. So in about 2018, I had a dear friend, Laura Sutton. She had a like an 8-week study on joyful parenting, and where she kind of began to introduce some of these, relational skills. And after that study, I just wanted more. I wanted to know more and learn more. And so then she pointed me to Thrive Today.
Oh, that's so much fun. And it's a fun connection because I knew Laura Sutton through something completely different. And then we discovered we both knew about Thrive. So it was a fun little connection. And she's just a great example, as are you, of gathering people and really sharing what God's doing in your life through relational skills so that other people can grow and benefit from it. So Kāmi, we are going to be talking, or you're going to be talking to us about skill one, share joy, and how that's made an impact in your life. And so, first, I just want to talk to our audience a little bit about this skill. So, share joy is skill one, it's one of the foundational 5 relational skills. And the Bible talks about joy a lot. It is a fruit of the Spirit. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. So we know that it is something that we want in our lives. And then brain scientists discovered that joy is the fuel that our brains are designed to run on. And they actually define joy as someone's glad to be with me. It's this experience we have when we're the apple of someone's eye, or we're glad to be with someone else. So it's this relational term. And the cool thing is, when we have more joy in our lives, our brains just run better. We think better, we process information better, we show up as our best selves more. Everything just goes better when joy is there. And yet, Kāmi, I think we have talked about this, that there's just so many of us that have struggled with low joy at times in our lives, or people that are regularly struggling with joy. And so that's the gift of this skill, is that it actually gives us a clear pathway for developing and building joy in our lives. So I'd love to hear your story about sharing joy and just what you want to share with us about this skill and how it's made an impact for you.
Thank you. So when I first came to Thrive and I heard about Skill One, I really thought, oh, it's making other people happy to be with me.
Mm.
And but then slowly, as I started taking some of the kind of the exercises or some of the things that I learned through training and started to implement them into my everyday life, I started to realize, no, it's just simply like just being glad to be with each other. And for me, it started simply as, okay, I'm going to genuinely smile, at my people, I have 2 children and my husband, and like smile at them and basically convey through my face that I am so glad to be with them.
Mm.
And slowly it just started to grow into other areas where um, we're just really enjoying each moment of being together, and that's like building our joy buckets, so to speak. And then being able to spread that in every place that I go. So I love coffee. I'm constantly at coffee places. um, and those sweet people that sometimes they're really busy and they're functioning in kind of this overwhelmed, hurried place, and to be able to catch their eye and to smile. There was a sweet young man that, boy, he was just overwhelmed with all of the orders, and I was able to just say, pause, catch his eye, and just smile. And he kind of looked at me confused, but then he smiled, and then I was able to say, I so appreciate you.
Oh.
And that moment, we were able to share that joy. And then later on, he came by and said, boy, that really meant so much to me. And it's like, that's the power of the Lord moving and working, right? That's the power of joy,
Mm.
is where we're able to fuel around us this culture of joy.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it is so contagious, isn't it? I mean, it seems like something so simple as smiling and thanking someone who's helping us out. But you can actually see the change in them if they really catch like, oh, this person is really glad to be with me. Like they're not even consciously registering that. That's all subconscious, but they feel it. You can see it. Like it can shift somebody's day, can it?
Yes, yeah. I just love that. I love when Chris says like sharing joy is a little piece of heaven. And
Mhm.
that's been my experience. The more that I practice sharing joy, the more I feel that, the more that I desire that, and I want other people to have that sweet gift, right? Um, it's just amazing.
So, Kami, we've talked before about what really motivated you to want to build skills in the first place. You've talked about you and Anaya, your daughter, you shared your story with us. It was on a testimony for our end of the year a couple years ago about how there was just some joy and connection that you were lacking in that relationship. You wanted to see it grow. So, could you talk to us just a little bit about how building joy has where you saw joy lacking and how you've seen a shift in your own life through the years as you practice this?
So, my daughter and I, it was almost like, if you had two people playing two different sheets of music.
Mm,
And when those musics came together, they were in such they were so different that it was hard to listen to. That's kind of
mhm,
what it felt like in our relationship. And being able to build joy and with her has allowed us to almost create this harmony, right? The
mm.
Lord has like shifted our music a little bit, and it's not the same, but it definitely is a little bit different, but now it sounds pleasing to the ear. And now it's like she would say, and I would say too, she can come and be so glad to be with me, even in big and overwhelming emotions, where a few years back, she could not do that. She had to be, we both had to be in a certain, feeling a certain way towards each other to be able to sit in hard things. And now we can both genuinely come as we are, low capacity, full capacity, feeling all the different, things, and we can sit together and truly know and feel that we are still glad to be together. And
Mm.
we would much rather be together than to be apart. And that is the most amazing feeling. It feels safe. It feels where I really feel seen and known by her. And I would say she probably feels the same towards me.
Mm.
And it was through that relationship, that hard relationship, that the Lord has really grown me and to give me eyes for even the relationships that were, I would say, quote unquote, like easy. My son, we've always had and felt like we understood each other a little bit. Our relationship's been a little bit easier, but as he's become an adult and now he recently got married,
Mm.
just recognizing we still need to be intentional with our relationship, and so because of everything I've learned and grown with Anaya, I'm able to see and apply those things also to the relationship I have with my son, also to the relationship I have with my husband as our seasons change. And so it's just this, we serve a God of abundance, and He really has abundantly blessed me in showing me all the ways to grow joy, share joy in all these different relationships.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kami. I just want to encourage our audience that, God is he's called us to be a joyful people. And that doesn't mean that we're always like, yeah, jazz hands. Life is amazing.
Yes.
But that we can actually really enjoy people, enjoy each other, the way God delights in and enjoys us, that we can express that to the world around us, that when people get around us, they feel like, wow, that's somebody who actually really likes to be around me. Because doesn't it feel so good to feel like people like to be around us? And that's a gift that we can give as we develop this skill in our lives. We can be the people that God has called us to be to the world around us. And so you were a wonderful example of that, Kimi. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. And if you want to learn more about this skill, Chris has a great podcast episode on joy versus happiness. I highly recommend you guys check that out. That's episode number 12. We also have a page, thrivetoday.org/skill1, where you can see a pathway for learning more about this skill. And also, Chris wrote a series of books, the 4 Habits series with Dr. Marcus Warner, that focuses on building joy. Raising Joy-Filled Kids is one, Joy in Our Marriages, 4 Habits of Joy-Filled Marriages, and then 4 Habits of Joy-Filled People. So those are great books if you just want something practical to read to learn a little bit more about this and how you can grow and nurture and develop joy in your own life. So Kami, thank you so much, friend, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And friends, we hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time for our next episode of Relational Skills in Real Life.